right, the very first step for creating this card is to create the card base. So this is what it looks like with nothing on it, and folds flat. So we need those little strips in there, and then we need the piece for the base here. And that's what it looks like with some stuff in it. So I've got 3 pieces of cardstock that are 1/2 inch wide by 3 3/4 inches. And all we need to do for those is score 1/2 inch on each side. So that's ready to go. So this piece here is at 11.5 inches wide by, or long, by 6 inches wide. So what we need to do for this piece is we need to score it at 5.5 inches and 11 inches. And then we're going to move it up 1/4 inch, and we are going to score it at 3 inches. So really that's 2 3/4, but I don't have a 2 3/4 mark. And then we're going to score it at 8.5 inches, which again is actually 8 1/4, but I don't have a 1/4 inch mark there. So by just shifting it up 1/4 inch, you'll have that, you'll be able to get that right. If you happen to have, some scoreboards have like 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, or whatever, you don't need to do that shifting. And then along this side, we're going to score at the 3 inch mark up to the 3rd line right here, and then we're going to skip, and then we're going to do right at that little tab there. So let's move this out of the way because we don't need it anymore. Then you're going to get a pair of scissors, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this tab right off. And all of these measurements will be listed on the supply list, so you don't need to necessarily remember every single one of these measurements. Now I'm going to cut down that line just to the score line there, and then I'm going to fold this over just to make sure that they are all folded at the same mark. You could do the rest of the cutting and then fold it, but I just like to do it now so you could just do it all at once. And then we're going to cut along these lines up until that score line. There we go. And then before we actually glue anything together, let's get these folds in here. Make sure we have nice creases. I'm just using my finger. You can use your bone folder if you want. There we go. So there is our card base. Now let's put some tape on here. So I have some 9.5 millimeter Suk Wang, which in Canada we have all of ours labeled with metric. I believe for Imperial that would be 3/8 of an inch wide. You could do 1/2 inch because our tabs here are 1/2 inch, but then you're leaving very little room for accidentally getting the tape on crooked or whatnot. So I like this size for this. So I'm putting the tape on that 1/2 inch tab on the card base, and then on all of these little 1/2 inch tabs for the little inside pieces. There we go. Put this tape to the side. Just press down on the tape, make sure that you've got some good adhesion to it. And there we go. Now I'm going to take these tabs. I want to make sure that they're all folding back nicely. And the first one here, I hold it so that the tape is down. I'm doing it about an inch down, and then about the halfway mark in that square. It does not need to be exact. Eyeballing it totally works. And then the only other thing that you want to, and again, eyeballing it works, make sure that this is about parallel to that that score mark there. We don't want our, I don't even know what they would call these things. We don't want them crooked. All right, so this one here, I place it about halfway between here and here and there. If it's not halfway, it's okay. It's not something that has to be absolutely precise. And then this last one here goes in here. And this one, I take a look at my space here and I put about that same space there. So we've got 3 tabs here. I'm going to take the backing off of this. I'm going to press that down, and then I'm going to press this piece in here. So that piece is going to attach to that tape there. And this is going to make so much more sense in a second. All right, so we take that tape. So we've got all of our tapes exposed. Then the score line just past where you put those tabs, we are going to fold it. And then press nicely. And then I do it the opposite way. And there we go. We have our card base all made and ready to go. As simple as that. So we'll see you in the next video and we'll start putting a card together.